I was able to calm down a grown man from almost like bursting out into tears in my lobby.
Mm,
So
that's
that
an
was
accomplishment.
yeah, that was definitely an interesting Hey, hey, hey.
Hello.
Oh, I was like, she's so stiff right now. I was like, is she frozen or she's just like waiting for me to say something?
Just waiting on you. Figure I'd give you a turn.
Tricked me.
Yeah, story of our lives. That's how it
Yeah,
goes.
that is true. Well, Miss Amanda dear, how are you doing on this fine, fun, loving, beautiful day?
I am all right. I am,
That was convincing.
yeah, I'm exhausted getting ready to go on vacation. So, a lot of
Woohoo!
packing and house cleaning. I'm excited to get out of here. However,
I bet.
process to get
I
it
bet.
a lot. But I'm doing all right. I've been running some errands today. I went to one of my favorite places, Tarjay,
Ooh.
and so but I went to Starbucks because I enjoy Starbucks. That's like my guilty pleasure because I really don't need to
Mhm.
spend the money, but I do.
Yes.
And the last two times before today that I went to Starbucks, they made my drink.
Oh, that's always the worst.
Yeah, so there was one night I think I had told you about where they put too much matcha in my drink, and we were up
Oh.
until like 4 in the morning.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
I remember that story.
yeah. She's like, "Oh, this is darker than what I'm used to seeing." Yeah, it is. Oh, it is a fresh batch of matcha. Okay. I
She
just
thinks.
it's already bad enough I had to get a different milk in my drink, so it was just like, okay, it tastes different, but it must be the milk.
Right, right.
Up like a crackhead till 4 in the morning. So
You answered,
second
buddy.
yeah. Second time, I caught it on the screen. She put the wrong size drink for one of the two drinks, so I corrected her, right?
Mhm.
But then when I get to the window, I have a completely different
Oh.
my drink is not supposed to even be that color. So she's like, oh, she goes back and makes a drink, comes back, still doesn't look like exactly, looks a little slightly different, but I'm like, it's slightly different. I'll take a chance. Wrong drink again. Yeah. So I was a little nervous going to Starbucks today. And each time there are different locations, I just want to say. So
Oh,
it's not like I
really?
kept
Oh.
going back to the same place every time it was a different location.
Oh, that sucks. Because normally you can be like, "Alright, I'm just not gonna go to this one anymore." But
Right. Went to the one in Target and I got the correct drink, which is exciting. Um, Homegirl actually told me that I can get my drink in an even larger size. So, venti is like the large. She told me I could get it in a Trenta, which is even. So,
okay.
large, large. Well, there was another size larger than the large that I could get for free with my
Right.
little points. So that was super exciting.
Oh.
So I did get that, but I think they failed to sweeten it for
Mm,
the appropriate size drink that it was. So it was still
gotcha.
not not quite what I was looking for. But
Eh.
yeah. So I think I'm going to take a little hiatus from Starbucks. Just
Yeah, I don't blame you. I feel like whenever you have those, like, back-to-back interactions, you're just kind of like, "You know what? Maybe someone's telling me something that, like, I really don't need this right now because"
right. It's like that. Shame on you the first time, shame on me the second time, and the third time. I don't know what the fuck happened, but I
Yeah.
should have already known to not at that point. Like, just don't do it. And I did it. I did it, and I got 3 points on another drink that exactly what I was looking for. So, but yeah. So I was running errands in Target, and I'm pretty sure their asset protection person was following me. So asset protection, like loss prevention, the people who watch people who steal.
Oh, I didn't know that was, like, a thing.
I'm used to it because obviously I worked in the Home Depot store, so with Home Depot, which is not in the store. So, and even when I worked for Stop and Shop back in the day,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that branch of
They do that in Stop and
business.
Shop too?
Yeah, um,
Mm.
yeah. So, I mean, you have to with especially with companies like that, like that are corporations type of thing. You know, people are always going to come in there and steal. At the grocery store, people would come in. I remember people would. There was these two chicks this one time that had a grocery cart of groceries. Um, she one of the girls had her son in the front seat, and I knew they were sketchy aside from their cart being full of shit because no one, I don't even care. Granted, it was years ago, but no one fills their cart that fucking much at the grocery store from
Yeah.
what I experienced. So, like, you have a full cart, but that shit was like full with as much stuff that you could put in the fucking cart full, okay?
Yeah.
And they're in the toy aisle, and he's like, "Oh, I want a toy," and she's like, "Pick whatever you want." Red flag. These bitches
Wait, to who? Who they were talking to each other, you're saying?
boy said to his mom that
Oh, oh,
he
oh.
wants a toy. She told him to pick whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Pick whatever you want,
Yeah.
and
Not a normal thing.
they're hanging outside the store near the exit. And they ended up leaving the full cart of groceries and taking the child out the cart and left the store because we were onto them. We were watching them. I'm gonna steal that shit.
But that doesn't make sense though. If you're gonna steal something, like steal like one or two things that's like small enough or whatever. Like how are you gonna steal an entire cart full of shit? That doesn't make any sense.
Because if no one's watching, you can literally walk out of the grocery store. It's common to see people walk out of the grocery store with a cart of groceries, right? But
Yeah,
if
but
no one's
bagged.
but if no one's watching,
Hmm,
it's even easier.
I guess.
Um, Baby formula is a common thing, apparently. From what I've heard, people steal baby formula. I don't know if you ever noticed in stores, baby formula is locked up.
Yeah, always.
I guess people they shouldn't overseas
No.
because there's something about when you ship baby formula, they're not allowed to open it or whatever
Mhm.
when it's
That
shipped
makes sense.
overseas. So yeah.
Yeah.
So supposedly that was a thing. But yeah, so loss
Well,
prevention. They oh my gosh, in and out that store all the time. I'm gonna call it a bitch. Running in and out that bitch all the time to steal stuff.
hmm.
So loss prevention is usually, like they have a person who is in the store watching people who can approach the thieves. Usually the stores are not allowed to approach the thieves, but people who work in loss prevention or asset protection are able to.
Gotcha.
So I was in an aisle,
Mhm.
and so when I'm shopping with put my items in the stroller depending on the size of the item and how much. So if I'm only getting a few things, I'm not fucking lugging around a whole cart and a stroller at the same time
Right.
because I'm not going to go put the cart back into the little corral. I'm not doing all that extra shit. I'm taking my stroller out the so
Yeah.
this guy, he came out of nowhere when I was in the aisle, and I was just like putting a few things down below. And then, so when I was in the aisle, he wasn't in the aisle yet. But
Mhm.
then he just, okay, was shopping in the aisle. Fine, whatever. I didn't think anything for the store over by the produce section. And that's when I grabbed something from there, put it down below, and I'm like looking at my phone because I'm trying to figure out, okay, what else do I need to get? Because it's, you go to the store, you say you know what you need to get.
Mhm.
Look, remember, take a moment to stop myself and be like, do I have everything?
Yeah.
I look up, and dude is now conveniently across from me, like he's like a good like 20 feet away looking at, and I'm like, okay, he's shopping
Yeah.
in the same areas. It's Target, no big deal.
Right.
Mm. So I go
Uh-oh.
back down to the health and beauty section where I first seen him, and I'm looking at something. I turn and look, and now he's in another aisle across from me. Fucking me. So just to mess with him, I decided to do a little more shopping around, so to speak. I was done getting what I need to get,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to really see if the suit was following me. But apparently, I lost him or just went somewhere where I found him.
Yeah.
So I just ended up going to the checkout line and just did my thing. But yeah, so that was an interesting shopping trip today with with Tarjay. So, but
Sounds like it. That shit's so crazy to me. And, I kind of hate to be the one to say it, but how much of that do you think is because, the color of your skin? Because I've never, from what I know or what I've noticed, I don't think
mhm.
I've ever experienced that.
It's because from my experiences in the store and seeing people steal, I've personally seen more white people, but that's because the area had more white people in it.
Okay.
But I'm not really sure. My color, I definitely doubt that. My color wasn't a thing. Like it definitely was a thing. Um, and then putting stuff down below on the stroller was also a factor. But it is what it is. But I peeped him. I know asset protection. I asset in my
Right.
so I know how they maneuver and kind of how they operate. So I picked
Mhm.
that up pretty quickly, and I was just like, oh, we about to have fun with this one. Because otherwise, it's like, why is this creepy ass guy everywhere where I go?
Right, right. I
You
mean,
know.
I would have fun with that shit too. If I knew someone's intentionally following me, I would put all the things in my cart.
Right. So it was like, but I also had to be mindful of the time and the baby because I was like, I can only be in here
Yeah,
for so long. I got one more store to hit. So,
right.
but yeah, so my day was pretty all right. I had a little fun with AP, and that was about it. How was your day?
Hmm. Well, that sounds interesting. We'll full circle this. My day was actually pretty fucking insane.
Oh, I was not expecting that response.
It was just a day. Like, so I mean, I haven't really talked about it on the podcast yet, but like, yes, well, so I told people that I moved, but me moving did not change the fact that I still work in New York City. And so adjusting to my new commute has definitely
Mm.
been an interesting thing. This morning was not that bad, except for the moment where I got lost, which probably stalled me for about 10 minutes.
You got
Don't ask.
lost? Okay.
I'm not getting into it. Don't ask me.
Okay. Understood.
You can, but don't ask me because I'm gonna embarrass myself.
So
So
how'd you get
aside
lost?
aside from that, it wasn't that bad. But let me tell you, my commute coming home today was a fucking nightmare. It took me forever and a day. Um, and I just want to bitch about that because I've been complaining about my commute every day. But like my day at work was like so busy. I was like, I haven't been this busy in such a long time. I didn't get anything done today.
Oh
But
wow.
I guess I kind of did because I was able to calm down a grown man from almost like bursting out into tears in my lobby.
Mm,
So
that's
that
an,
was
an accomplishment.
yeah, that was definitely an interesting experience and I feel really bad for him. Just because I feel like cuz at my first impression of him, I thought that he was a little out there.
Oh, okay.
But after really like taking the time cuz I was with him for like at least an hour and
Oh,
it was a long time.
right.
And like at first glance in the way he was like talking and kind of like all over the place, like I thought he might actually be like a little out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um but after like I really like sat there and I listened to him and I really tried to understand like what he was telling me,
Yep.
I really think that two different things going on. I think one, he is really um feeling guilty. I think
Okay.
because it was his dad that had died and I think that he is feeling guilty about, whatever that relationship looked like. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
that it was that close of a relationship, like close, but like
Mm-hmm.
not close, or like there was like something missing.
Right.
Um, but then I also just think that he didn't know how to grieve, which
Mm-mm.
that's always like a hard thing. And I don't really mean to say it like that because nobody really knows how to grieve.
You don't. You
So
figure it out as you go.
right. So I'm not really saying that in the context of like, he's
He's
like not
unexperienced
doing
in
it right
grieving.
or you know what I mean? But I'm just
Yeah.
saying it like I don't think he really knew how to like process any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just telling my boyfriend about it when I got home and it was making me think like I saw some things in him that like I know I do. So
Okay.
like I was talking to him with another one of my coworkers and she started talking about something that I can tell was like in the process of upsetting him. One, because of his body language, but then also because he literally said, like, okay, like, you don't have to get into it.
Mm.
And he just kept, like, kind of, like, saying that, and he was, like, looking around at, like, things around him to kind of, like, distract himself.
Distract. Oof. Yeah.
And, like, for me, that's something that, like, I do. Like, sometimes my boyfriend will, like, say something about my dad, and he can instantly see in my face that, like, if he keeps talking, like, I'm going
Mm.
to fucking lose it. And
Uh,
so, like, he's learned to, like, read me because I don't want to lose it, so he kind of just,
mhm.
like, changes the subject. Um,
For his
and
safety.
right. And so it was like an awkward situation because, like, I can tell he was about to get really upset. But this lady that I was with, she's like one of those people that just like talk and talk and talk and just like, just kind of like ramble a lot.
Oh
And I wanted to just
gosh.
like smack her and just be like, shut up. Like, stop talking.
You're not helping the situation. He asked you to
No.
change the subject.
And you can tell because like, she kept going and going, and his eyes started to get watery, and I was like, "Uh-oh." Like, I interrupted her, and I tried to, like, like, steer the conversation, like, a different direction because not
Right.
that I don't want him to cry, but, like, it's not going to accomplish anything in that moment, and I can tell he was uncomfortable. So, it was like, just trying to, like, really, like, navigate the situation, but, like, I just felt so, so bad for him. I think the reason why he was all over the place and why some people might not have been helping him is because he does come across, very, like, disjointed in his thoughts, I guess,
Oh.
is the best way to, like, say it. But at the end of the day, I think that he is just processing a lot, whether it's, guilt and grief and, like, all of those
Mhm.
things.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that he really just needed somebody to, like, sit and listen to him and make him feel validated and, like, understand that he's grieving and he's trying to, like, put all these pieces together because as we always talk about, this is not something that everybody goes through on a daily basis, and so you don't really
It's
know
not.
what to do, how to think,
Right.
all of those
You
things. So,
it's so foreign. It's literally a learning process.
yeah.
Once you think you have it down, you either do have it down or you have more to learn. Like
Mhm.
it's a never ending journey.
Yeah, it definitely is, and so, I don't know, just still thinking about it, like, my heart definitely goes out to him. I feel really bad, but, you know I do think that I helped him today, which is always the rewarding factor of it. But yeah, so that was like just thrown into like it was like the 1 hour that I had to actually like sit at my desk and like get things done. And
You're
this lady comes walking up to my desk and she's like, I need help with this and I don't know what to tell him and he's all over the place. And I'm like, okay, well, what is his actual like issue?
right.
So I was like, you know what? I was like, instead of me trying to like teach you how to like talk to him or like how to like word it, I was like, let
Mhm.
me just go downstairs with you and talk to the man. So I
Right.
did. And, maybe you're right. Maybe I was meant to be there for some, whatever reason. Maybe I was meant to actually, meet this man in person because it's not something that I typically do. I don't meet with people in person. Um,
Gotcha.
so I don't know. Maybe it was just like one of those things that the higher
Maybe
powers, kind of wanted to happen. I don't know, but
I think so. I mean, you know me, I'm always gonna believe that stuff.
yeah,
But I guess it's just the spirituality within me and just believe.
yeah, definitely. So it's definitely been a day. But on that topic, as we had discussed before we got on the podcast, um,
Yes.
December is oddly actually, um, oh God, what's
Literate.
it called?
Spiritual Literacy Month.
Spiritual
It's
month.
about pretty much picking up a book that is related to um, or having faith of some sort and uh, getting a good read, you know, getting more than one book in is ideal, of course, but you know, a lot of our time is consumed by working other things, but always be able to make time for a book. I'm going to tell you that I haven't made time for a book.
I haven't either.
But there is this book that I read, and it is still on my bookshelf, and a book that I look forward to reread into a group.
Mhm.
It's called The Urban Monk, and it's really about just like it's like about like mixing today's culture in with a monk type of lifestyle, finding the peace amongst everything else today, and
Mm.
taking some of those traditional values and just applying it to your life. So I found it to be a pretty interesting read. I had got it from my therapist, and then oddly, COVID happened. And I was never able to give the book back.
Well, there
So
you go.
I think that is more the reason to also reread it since I still have it in my possession.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's an interesting book. I don't remember a lot of it, and that's because I read it a while ago. I did read the whole book, just but
Yeah.
it's been a while since I did it. But it gives like breathing techniques and things like that that the monks would do within their practice of obtaining chi. So it's like
Gotcha.
peace within. Yeah, so that's a topic for this month is you know getting a read in line with your spirituality or religion or faith. And I know, I don't, it seems more common, and I could be lying, many religious, like organized religious type of people. It kind of seems like spirituality is really big, and spirituality makes me think it's like it's more like a religion, or like it's like more laid back. It's not as
Yeah.
like it's not as strict with rules, because with religion you do have certain standards that you live by and that you
Mhm.
abide by, and it's just like spirituality allows you to.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true. Um, I think that I don't really know if there would be one that's like bigger than the other, but I know that they both separately have very ginormous followings on either side of the coin. So
Touche, good point. That's very true. I
yeah.
think maybe for myself, um like who I interact with, I think that's where it's more applicable for me. And for me, more of the older age groups are who are more into that origin um, body that I've grown up with.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true because like my mom is, very religious. She's not like strict in like following things, but she's very,
Hmm.
she definitely believes in like God and she's very
She's devoted.
yeah, religious in like that aspect. But I would say a lot, like you said, a lot of like the younger generation is more, kind of like farther removed from that. And it's more of like, I believe in something, but I
Hmm.
don't necessarily call it God or,
Hmm.
have to sit in a church or whatever. Like there's, some kind of, um, I don't know
Other
what you
higher
would say,
power.
like, yeah, higher power, like other like vibrations and,
Hmm.
things that people are just kind of like sensing and like picking up on. So,
Definitely. And it's like, for me, religion is just, even as a kid, I was never with it. Like, I just couldn't, like, we would go to church and I couldn't, like, I just couldn't get into it. I don't know how to explain it.
yeah.
It just felt placed when I had to go to church. And it's just like
Yeah.
my family around me would, not my mom, because my mom was not a church person. Maybe that's where I get it from. But like my aunt, my grandma, if she dragged them to church, I felt dragged personally. I felt like I was being dragged to church every
Yeah.
Sunday. But it's just like, those whole stories like, oh, you remember so and so from church? And I'm like, no, I just remember like wanting to leave. Those are the
You
memories that
believe
I
it.
remember wanting to leave. I remember I was in a play that I didn't want to be in. Like,
Mm.
I was a sheep in some, I don't know. It was just like stuff I really didn't
Oh,
want
I
to
need
do.
pictures.
You know, so that.
Oh, that's great. I would love to see those pictures.
That's out. So don't even think. Don't talk to Aunt Karen about it. Don't talk to nobody about
Mm.
it. That is
I don't have to
out.
talk to Aunt Karen about it because I know she's gonna listen to this episode, and I'm gonna get a little nice message from her, and she's gonna be like, "Look at what I found." Thank you.
Aunt Karen,
Thank
if
you
you're
in advance,
listening,
Aunt Karen.
I'm sure there's no pictures. Anywho, so that was my personal feeling, and it wasn't anything negative, but it just wasn't. It was
Yeah.
like, and just because I always just felt so distanced from it because of my feelings as a child. So I said, you know what? I'm an adult now. I can do what I want, right? Like I can go back and try things. When you try food, you know, all this stuff. I the same. So there weren't there weren't any different results. So I've come to realize that I do believe in a higher being different for me than what I was raised with. So yeah, I believe there's a higher power. I believe there is a God, a creator. But when it comes to following like religious literacy
Mhm.
or there may be out there, I'm sure there's more stuff that I'm just not familiar with, but
Mhm.
that's not where I'm at. I'm with my crystals, bringing in vibrations and vibes and say cleansing energy to get back in touch with my whole self
Mhm.
because I feel like there's so much social media, not even social media, excuse me. There's so much technology and other things out there that um, take us away from true, like feeling our true bodies and feeling like our true feelings and just being in touch with nature. Like we have less trees and there's more buildings and things like that. There's less fresh
Mhm.
air. Taking away things like that for me, it's like a really act. So being able to try to do my little bit that I do because I'm not as consistent with it like I used to be. My life has changed a lot, but I am looking to pull it back into my lifestyle.
Gotcha. That's
Sorry, I
cool
just
and that's
I'm like,
exciting.
what
It's
you
alright.
say?
I
I
knew
don't
when we
know.
talk about spirituality, you would.
Oh, such a bitch. I can't stand you. I knew this bitch was just gonna talk forever.
Oh, I know you.
Ugh, but yeah, I can't. Oh, that's
I know it's
that.
something you're pretty passionate about. Cause like for me, yeah, I would say I'm definitely more spiritual than I am religious.
Mhm,
Because I've just never like you said, I used to go to Sunday school and like those kinds of things like when I was smaller. I don't remember thinking I hated it. I mean, I don't know if I would ever say like I hated it.
mhm.
Um, but I know that going into churches makes me very uncomfortable.
Okay,
Um,
yep.
and but I think a part of that though, when I really like get into like the deep thoughts about it, is because I don't like to be in touch with my feelings, and I feel like churches, especially the few moments that I've gone to black churches, they really like get in there. It's just not something that I'm into because it's probably a part of my fear. I'm just like afraid to really just like let go of
They
like what
draw all the emotion out of you.
they really get you, and I'm just
Mhm.
not for it.
It's exhausting.
I'm sure it is if I was to experience it.
Exhausting in an all-day affair.
No, you're fine. But yeah, I mean, I would think I'm definitely more like spiritual. I do think that there is like, some weird like universe and like higher power kind of stuff. But I'm definitely nowhere near your level because, you have given me crystals and stuff like that. And I took it off already, but I do wear my bracelet every day. And I
Yay.
have the little uh, crystal thing on my desk. And I remember I was talking
Fluorite,
to
yep.
someone the other day. Yeah, that. And and I forget, I don't remember what the conversation was or whatever, but basically it's just kind of like, yes, like I have this nice little crystal on my desk, but I couldn't tell you like what it does or what it's supposed to do. It's just here, it just looks pretty.
I gave
So
you a card that tells you, I thought.
I don't.
Never mind. You moved. That thing is lost.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But no, but I think the card though was for the bracelet actually.
My bad. Okay.
But anyways, so I mean, I definitely do believe in something, but I'm not necessarily to that kind of a level.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think everyone believes in some some kind of something, whether it's your God or your Buddha or
Do they
whatever.
though? Because aren't there atheists? They don't believe in anything. Is that what an atheist is? Isn't it?
They say they don't believe in anything, but I still think at the end of the day, I mean, I'm probably gonna get like a lot of like
Flat.
for that whatever, but well, I don't know. Let's open that discussion to people who might be atheists because I'd
I
be
think that's a
more
great idea.
curious. I think like on surface level, they'll probably say like, "No, I don't believe anything." But it's like, what do you think are those things? Like how you talked about um, not wanting to go to like Starbucks anymore, and I was like, "Oh, it's because someone's telling you that like you shouldn't go to Starbucks."
Right.
Like those like kinds of like weird like moments. Like, do you just not think anything's like a coincidence?
I'd guess that they would say no. It's just your conscience telling you that you know damn well they're gonna fuck up your drink, so don't go, stupid bitch. Not playing. Or maybe they'll say it's um oh well then this is how they wouldn't be able to if someone says that they are atheists and they say they don't believe in anything, but then I feel like someone would hit you with the like another planet like are creatures created by creatures of another planet or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to make guesses as to what we hear. I want to know. I want people
Well,
to know because I'm actually interested to hear these.
yeah,
And I don't care if their opinion is different than mine. That's okay. I wouldn't even
right.
judge you for a different opinion. We're not here for that. But we're here to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, we're definitely here for the fun conversations. I'm all about it.
Facts. Big facts.
Yeah.
You guys are definitely going to have to go into Braid and reply on there too because I know that's going to be a topic for us on there as well.
Now it will be. Good thoughts. Good thoughts.
Yes, if you haven't downloaded it, get to it.
Yes, and just like everything else, if you're not already on our YouTube, our
Mm.
Facebook, and our
Facebook,
Instagram, make
Insta.
sure that you guys go ahead and do all of the things and make sure you comment on your favorite video or picture and
Yes.
subscribe and follow if you're not already. We appreciate the love and we appreciate you.
Goodness. And don't forget, with the link in our bios, we also have merch. So you can be representing your girls with a nice little t-shirt. We have little pouches. Yeah, just a whole array of things. So you should definitely check it out because, like I said before, it's the holiday season and
Mhm.
someone could use a gift. And if you don't know what to get somebody and you want to get them something small and sweet, that's what we got. Small and sweet stuff. If you wear a big size hoodie, it's not small.
I can't with you. And on that note, everybody.
I love it.
Oh man, you know what? Until next time.
Until next time, guys.
Bye.